On February 26, 2025, the world was rocked by a haunting discovery in Santa Fe, New Mexico. One of Hollywood's most celebrated actors, Gene Hackman, and his wife Betsy Arakawa were found dead in their home. But this wasn't a typical celebrity passing. Their bodies were in advanced stages of decomposition, with conflicting timelines and mysterious circumstances surrounding their deaths. As fans mourned the loss of this cinematic legend, whispers of suspicion began to circulate. Now, for the first time since this tragedy, Gene's brother Richard breaks his silence, revealing intimate details that challenge everything we thought we knew about the reclusive star. The truth behind Gene Hackman's final days isn't just surprising. It's a stark reminder that even those who spend their lives in the spotlight can harbor the deepest secrets. The story of Gene Hackman begins far from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. Born on January 30, 1930 in San Bernardino, California, Hackman's early life was shaped by hardship and abandonment. At just 13 years old, his father left the family without even saying goodbye, a wound that would influence Hackman's relationships for decades to come. This early trauma instilled in him a fierce independence and a complicated relationship with intimacy that would follow him throughout his life. Despite these challenges, or perhaps because of them, Hackman developed a remarkable resilience and determination that would later fuel his extraordinary career. After serving in the United States Marine Corps, Hackman pursued his passion for acting, studying at the Pasadena Playhouse alongside future friend and colleague Dustin Hoffman. His journey to stardom wasn't immediate. Instructors at the Playhouse voted him least likely to succeed, but Hackman's tenacity proved them wrong. He persevered through years of rejection and small roles before his breakthrough performance in Bonnie and Clyde, 1967, which earned him his first Academy Award nomination. This persistence in the face of doubt became a defining characteristic of not just his career, but his entire approach to life. Hackman's career reached new heights with his portrayal of Detective Jimmy "Popeye" Doyle in The French Connection, 1971. His raw, unfiltered performance earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor and cemented his reputation as one of Hollywood's most versatile talents. He followed this triumph with an equally powerful turn in The Conversation, 1974, playing surveillance expert Harry Cole, a character whose paranoia and isolation eerily mirrored aspects of Hackman's own personality. Through these roles and others, from the tyrannical Lex Luthor in Superman, to the compassionate coach in Hoosiers, to the morally conflicted sheriff in Unforgiven, which earned him his second Oscar, Hackman demonstrated an uncanny ability to inhabit complex, flawed characters that resonated deeply with audiences. But what many fans didn't realize was that behind every character, behind every award, was a man who increasingly yearned for privacy and distance from the very industry that made him famous. While his star power grew, Hackman's desire for public attention diminished. Colleagues noted his professional dedication on set, but few could claim to truly know the man behind the performances. He rarely gave interviews and avoided the celebrity social circuit that was expected of stars of his caliber. Instead, Hackman deliberately constructed a wall between his professional and personal lives, a barrier that grew higher and more impenetrable as the years passed. This desire for privacy extended beyond his public persona to his family relationships. Hackman's first marriage to Faye Maltese in 1956 produced 3 children, Christopher Allen and daughters Elizabeth Jean and Leslie Ann. But his dedication to his craft often meant long absences from home, creating a distance that proved difficult to bridge. After 30 years together, the couple divorced in 1986, and Hackman's relationship with his children reportedly remained complicated. In fact, recent reports suggest that Hackman's will left his estate to his second wife Betsy, excluding his children entirely, a final testament to the complex family dynamics that characterized his life. It was with Betsy Arakawa, whom he married in 1991, that Hackman seemed to find the peace he had long sought. The couple retreated to Santa Fe, New Mexico, far from the pressures of Hollywood. There, they built a quiet life together, with Hackman pursuing his passion for painting, writing historical novels, and indulging in the outdoor activities he loved. Friends of the couple described their relationship as deeply interdependent, with each relying heavily on the other for emotional support and companionship. In their secluded southwestern home, Hackman finally seemed to achieve the privacy and tranquility that had eluded him throughout his tumultuous career. But there was another side to Gene Hackman that few people knew about: his insatiable thirst for adventure. Despite his quiet, reserved public image, Hackman was a man who craved adrenaline and new experiences. He was an avid race car driver, competing in the Toyota Pro Celebrity Race at the Grand Prix of Long Beach during the He also developed a passion for deep-sea diving, exploring underwater worlds with the same intensity he brought to his film roles. These adventurous pursuits revealed a complexity to Hackman's character that contradicted his reclusive reputation. Here was a man who simultaneously sought solitude and thrills, who craved both escape from the public eye and the rush of pushing his personal boundaries. This dichotomy extended to his creative life as well. After retiring from acting in 2004 following his role in Welcome to Mooseport, Hackman channeled his storytelling talents into writing. He co-authored several historical novels, including Wake of the Perdido Star and Justice for None. These literary endeavors allowed him to remain creative while maintaining the privacy he valued so highly. Through his writing, Hackman could explore historical events and complex characters without subjecting himself to the scrutiny that came with on-screen performances. It was the perfect compromise for a man who never seemed entirely comfortable with fame, yet possessed an undeniable need to express himself artistically. As the years passed, Hackman and Arakawa settled into a quiet rhythm in Santa Fe. They became fixtures in the local community, known for their unassuming presence and desire to be treated like any other residents. Hackman occasionally made headlines when spotted around town, but generally managed to maintain the low profile he preferred. Reports suggest that in his later years Hackman was battling Alzheimer's disease, adding another layer of complexity to his already guarded existence. This progressive condition likely contributed to the couple's increasing isolation and dependence on each other, setting the stage for the troubling circumstances that would later surround their deaths. The mystery began to unfold on February 26, 2025, when authorities discovered the bodies of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa in their Santa Fe home. Initial reports suggested a straightforward, if tragic, timeline. Arakawa had passed away on February 11th, with Hackman following a week later. But as investigators dug deeper, disturbing inconsistencies emerged. Records showed that Arakawa had made calls to a medical clinic on February 12th, indicating she was alive longer than initially believed. Both bodies were found in advanced stages of decomposition, raising questions about when they had actually died and why the alarm wasn't raised sooner. Medical examiners determined that Hackman had died from hypertensive atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, with Alzheimer's as a contributing factor. Arakawa's cause of death was identified as hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a rare but serious respiratory disease transmitted by infected rodents. The unusual combination of these circumstances, the isolated location, the unclear timeline, the rare disease, and the decomposed state of the bodies, fueled speculation and conspiracy theories among the public. Some suggested foul play, while others pointed to the couple's known reclusiveness and Hackman's declining mental health as explanations for the delayed discovery. In the wake of this tragedy, Richard Hackman, Gene's brother, has come forward to address the swirling rumors and offer insight into his brother's final years. Speaking with measured caution, Richard emphasized the family's decision to await complete toxicology reports before drawing conclusions about the exact circumstances of the deaths. "We're waiting on toxicology. That will tell us everything. It's hard to theorize," stated Richard's son Tim, adding, "There are lots of theories out there, and I don't want to speculate." This measured approach reflects the Hackman family's ongoing commitment to privacy, even in death. Richard's revelations about his brother paint a portrait of a complex man who valued peace above fame, who chose solitude over spotlight. He shared memories of working alongside Gene decades ago, before their paths diverged, one brother embracing the public life of an actor, the other preferring anonymity. Through Richard's reminiscences, we gain a new understanding of Gene's decision to retreat from Hollywood. It wasn't just about escaping the pressures of celebrity, it was a deliberate choice to prioritize personal fulfillment over professional accolades, to value authentic experiences over artificial adoration. As we reflect on Gene Hackman's extraordinary life and mysterious death, we're left with more questions than answers. Was his estrangement from his children a product of his own troubled childhood, or the inevitable consequence of a career that demanded everything? Did his retreat to Santa Fe represent freedom, or was it a self-imposed exile? Were the unusual circumstances of his and Betsy's deaths simply a tragic coincidence, or is there more to the story that we may never know? Perhaps the greatest legacy of Gene Hackman isn't found in his Oscar-winning performances or his critically acclaimed films, but in the profound reminder that even those who live their lives in the public eye remain, in essential ways, unknowable. Behind every role, behind every character was a man grappling with his own demons, seeking his own version of peace, and ultimately making choices that reflected his unique journey. As investigations continue and the full story of his final days emerges, one truth remains clear. Gene Hackman lived and died on his own terms, guarding his privacy to the very end. In a world that demands constant exposure and performative authenticity, Hackman's steadfast protection of his private self stands as a powerful statement. Whether we see it as a tragedy or a triumph depends on our own relationship with privacy and public perception. What's undeniable is that Gene Hackman, complex, talented, and fiercely independent, left an indelible mark on cinema and on all who encountered his work. And perhaps that, rather than the mysterious circumstances of his death, is what truly deserves our attention.